All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakah, Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers that's doing the will of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Now, for this lesson, it will be based on this scripture right here. It's very short. I'm going to read it. It says, the scripture is 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? For because of their pride, the cities shall be destroyed. The cities shall be troubled, Salakia. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Now, I'm going to focus on verse 17, and I'm going to read it again. That prophecy is coming to pass right now. And the Lord is not just using, the Lord isn't only bringing forth this prophecy in one way. It's in multiple ways. But I'm going to focus on the fuel crisis and how that's a part of this prophecy coming to pass. 2nd Esdras 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? Now, how do you go into a city? If you live somewhere like, New York City, you could walk from borough to borough. Some people do that for exercise. It might take an hour and a half, 2 hours to walk from the Bronx to Manhattan, right? Or, you could ride your bike, or a motorcycle, and I'm gonna step it up. Or you could take public transportation. You could take the bus. You could take the train. You could take a ferry. And let me step it up. You could drive your car to travel from city to city. Let's say you want to go from Philadelphia to New York City. That drive is like 2 hours, right? Now, what if you want to go from Philadelphia to LA or from Philadelphia to Miami, Florida? If you want to drive, that's like a couple of days. That's too much. So you'd rather take a plane, right? Now, what if you want to travel to another country? That's international travel. That's an international flight to go from one country to another. Let's say if you want to go from New York City to Tokyo, or from New York City to London, England, New York City to Lagos, Nigeria, New York City to Beijing, Japan, to Moscow, Russia. You would take a plane. Now, the fuel crisis, dealing with the effects of Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz and them using it as a weapon to weaken the U.S. economy, right? The jet fuel prices are up, plus surcharges to travel far, and then you have the surcharges mean you have to pay more to travel farther, right? Now let me get this. It says this just happened at the airport and is going viral. Why are so many travelers choosing not to fly anymore? Oh, this video is from Will with the news, and I'm gonna read this. Fair use disclaimer. Copyright under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. This material is used for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, which That's what I'm using this for. It's to teach and also news reporting. Teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So I'm going to play a little bit of this video, but I just want to show a point that 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 17. See right here. Yes, 17 is coming to pass. Now, why are so many travelers choosing not to fly anymore? In this video, we look at recent viral travel horror stories and passenger rants detailing modern flight delays, crew timeouts, and airline customer service failures. And this is it.
Hey man, listen, with the economy in shambles the way that it is, I would be reluctant or a little bit hesitant to spend my hard-earned money on flying any airlines in America. But right now, especially American Airlines, with all of these horror stories that are coming out on TikTok and other platforms, I'm gonna go ahead on and show y'all some clips of people telling us how upset and angry they are at these airlines, and then I'll give y'all my commentary at the end.
This video is for American Airlines and American Airlines only. I got a bone to pick with you right now. Today I had a flight. That flight was from Dallas to New York. We get on the plane, we take off, we're flying. We were 30 minutes out from landing, and then they gave us an announcement that they are running out of fuel. And because of that, they're gonna have to land in Philadelphia. So we land in Philadelphia, and they said, okay, we're gonna have to go.
So his destination got split. You know, now they have to make a stop in between, right? That wasn't his destination. And I want you to hear more. This is all 2nd Esdras 15 and 17.
Go to one of the little holding spots to get fuel. Land, we go over to the little holding space, and we're waiting for fuel. It took 45 minutes for the fuel to get started. No announcements whatsoever. Then there was an announcement that the fuel was started and we're good to go. So we start pushing back. As we start pushing back, they make an announcement that there's a chance that the pilots and the crew might time out and their day might have to end, which would keep us from being able to fly. But they said that as long as they take off within the next hour, we'll be good. So they told everybody on the plane, they're like, we're pretty confident that we can get off of the ground before our time's up. We're all good. So we push off, we go over to the tarmac where you take off, and we're waiting. And we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. And then, not an hour later, 30 minutes later, they come on the intercom and they say, hey, we're timed out, we gotta go back to the gate. That obviously sucks. At this point, I'm just looking at train tickets because the train is an hour from Philadelphia to New York. But this is where it gets ridiculous. We get back to the gate because now I'm getting off the plane. They said, no, don't worry. We have a new pilot flying in from Chicago, and he just got here. He'll be here in 45 minutes. So we're sitting there.
So all that delay, right? And then he's gonna say that they were told that they had to mail their luggage, you know, their suitcases and stuff. Let me skip to another one. That one's kind of long.
Same way she had just 2 weeks earlier. We calmly explained that nothing changed. We showed her birth certificate, we showed her passport, and proof from photos that we've taken that she had already traveled on the outbound flight. We weren't asking for special treatment.
And they're doing all this on purpose.
Notification right now that you canceled another one of my flights. Look, I'm not even mad about that. The weather happens, things happen. I'm trying to make the best of it. I've been trying to keep an optimistic attitude.
So they're forcing, they're doing this on purpose. They're forcing the people. Well, they're forcing the people by putting chains on them, so they can stay here. Like, it's hard for people to travel. Now, let me read it again. 2nd Esdras 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. And I want to get, where is it? This is Forbes.com. This is from July 24th. Says surging jet fuel costs mean higher airfares are coming, experts warn. You want to know what that means? It means that your plane ticket is about to go up 50% or double, right? 50% meaning if a plane ticket costs $1,000, it just went up $500. So that's $1,500 for something that used to cost $1,000. If it went up double, that's 100%. So now you're paying twice. You're paying $2,000 instead of $1,000, because it's not just a plane ticket. It's all the fees in between that you had no idea of, before you started to travel. Jet fuel prices are back on the rise after leveling off in June, throwing a wrench into airlines, and also gas prices as well, because they're tied. Best laid plans and signaling the likelihood of another round of airfare hikes later this summer or fall. The global average jet fuel price jumped to $149.40 per barrel, an increase of nearly 18% for the week ending July 17th, on the heels of a 7% increase of the previous week. So it just keeps on increasing. According to the International Air Transport Association, IATA jet fuel monitor, I think $200 a barrel is feasible if all hell breaks loose in the Middle East, which looks like it is going to happen. Now, let me skip down to here. It says the strategic reserves of jet fuel we've had in the U.S. and in Europe and in China have been gobbled up, meaning they use what they had as backup. That's what a reserve is. Something that you put aside for backup. Now they don't have anything else left but to get more fuel, and it's going to cost more because of the supply and demand right now. The demand is high because the supply is being made low because of what's going on with Iran. The Dow Jones U.S. Airlines Index is down 15% since July 1st, when the U.S. and Iran opened a direct communication channel, but ultimately failed to salvage a ceasefire. American Airlines cut its 2026 outlook, citing higher fuel costs, a sign that current elevated fares won't be enough to fully offset this year's spike in fuel prices. So I asked ChatGPT effects of the rise in jet fuel on passengers traveling and in and out of the U.S. I need to improve the way how I ask questions. I just noticed it. A rise in jet fuel prices is one of the largest cost increases airlines face. Since fuel often accounts for 20 to 30% of an airline's operating costs, sometimes more when oil prices spike. Higher jet fuel prices can directly and indirectly affect passengers traveling into and out of the United States. Higher fares, higher airfares. I'm just gonna go through it. You could pause the video and read it if you want to. The details underneath. Fuel surcharges. Some airlines add or increase fuel surcharges, especially on international routes. So they want to trap the people here when they do some event that's gonna cause all hell to break loose, you know, so that they could bring forth the NWO, you know, so that they could bring forth the digital prison, you know, so that they could enforce martial law, so that they could bring forth the MOTB, because the EU ID, that's the digital passport, the digital ID that they have right now, that's for traveling in the EU countries, that is not working because it's brand new, and it just caused a whole bunch of delays. But they're gonna make it a way to where that's your only mode of traveling is only if you have the MOTB, the RFID C-HIP. Route changes, higher baggage and ancillary fees, more fuel efficient operations, longer travel times, greater price volatility, impact on tourism and business travel. So that affects the country's economy, because tourism and business travel is a part of a country's economy. Potential increase in connecting flights. And that's the end of the lesson. Lord will is edifying. Prophecies coming to pass. You know, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.